Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Friday F4, the first week in February. Hard to believe that we are in the second month of 2020. As always, I am accompanied by Amanda Van Deerheiden. Amanda, happy February.
Happy February. It's a short one, so pay attention.
So today we're going to talk about a service and a topic that is becoming somewhat commonplace in the recruiting business and the staffing industry. And one of the things that my company spends a lot of time performing these services, and that is confidential searches, mainly for senior executives, both from the executive side, the candidate side, as well as from the client side. And a couple things I wanted to bring out today was what is a confidential search and what are the benefits of a confidential search? And then finally, what is the process of either putting one in place if you are a company or if you are a candidate, how do you get someone to help you from a confidential search side? So, Amanda, um, do you have any experience or knowledge of confidential searches from your standpoint?
That's not my normal world. So I was really interested when you brought the topic up about confidential searches. I mean, it makes sense from a coaching perspective. When I'm speaking to senior level executives, that's the thing that they're most concerned about, right? That their organization is going to know that they're leaving. A lot of people have that fear, actually, that they're afraid of retaliation. They're afraid of what's going to happen to them. But I was surprised to learn about one of the things I'm excited to hear you talk about is confidential searches on the business side of things, maybe for someone who's not working out. I'm not sure if you could elaborate on that. I think that's really an interesting topic.
Of course. So, what happens when you are a company and you have decided maybe that you might be looking to either replace a senior executive or an opening will be coming through for a senior executive role, or maybe you just want to know what senior executives are in the marketplace. And you really don't feel that by putting a online job description out there is the best way to go for internal reasons. So what companies can do is create a partner with a firm like my firm, like myself, in creating a plan to identify individuals that might be a good fit for the role, to bring them into the initial stage of the process, and to see what kind of interest in the marketplace there might be for this type of opening or role. It's a way that companies can evaluate talent and make a decision that if a change needs to be made, that they know that they will not be without that resource for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever their internal process is. It also is a good gauge for them to see the marketplace and to get an understanding of what type of top talent from an executive standpoint is available in the marketplace should they decide to make a change. I hope
So,
that's a good way of explaining that.
so I'm guessing that would mean they're signing NDAs, non-disclosure agreements on both sides of the house, right? Because it is very confidential. And I'm sure there's some legal stuff with that as well on the company side and the candidate side. So if that's on the company side, how about on the candidate side of what does that look like, a confidential search? Are you putting feelers out to organizations? Are you taking names off of resumes? How does that work?
So that's a very good question. So from a candidate standpoint, especially senior executives who work very hard to get to the level they're at, they make a determination from a personal standpoint and a professional standpoint that it might be time to explore what else is out there. Or they hear that there is maybe a position or an opening where a firm might be looking for someone with their skill set. they're not able to simply apply online. They can't do that. They have a relationship with their current employer that just wouldn't look good from a professional standpoint. So what do? In some cases, they feel stuck. They don't know what to do. So by coming to a company like my company or dealing with a professional like myself, what we're able to do is to create a plan to get that individual's expertise, their background, their skill set in front of certain types of employers, certain sectors, without giving away who they actually are. And what that allows to happen is if the employer or client company decides, yes, this is an individual we'd like to have a conversation with, we can then start the negotiation with the candidate and the client to allow that to happen with the understanding that this is strictly confidential and cannot go beyond this phone call. And because the only people who know is a very, very, very small group, we can hold people accountable to make sure that that information isn't released.
That makes sense from, a lot of standpoints. I think, you're championing them on top of everything else.
The impetus here is that if you're a senior executive, in some ways you can feel kind of trapped in your ability to look for that next role without your current employer knowing, because you might be very happy and you might feel, look, this is where I want to be. I'm up for a promotion in a certain amount of time, but I do want to know, is there anything else out there before I make a decision? How do you go about that? So using a professional like myself and my company can really facilitate uh, a way for you to make a more educated decision. Same thing on the client side, same thing on the company side. Sometimes it's just basically to find out who in the marketplace might be available if we decide to go down this route. When evaluating internal talent, before they make a decision, they want to make sure they have the best possible people in the roles as well. So all in all, it provides a very, very valuable service, and it can give peace of mind to both the candidate and the company that if nothing should move forward, there is no harm, no foul.
That makes sense. Well, thanks for sharing, Jim, and thanks for sharing your expertise on this. That was really helpful. I hope that helped a bunch of you out there as well. That brings us to the conclusion of today's episode. I'll kick it to Jim to wrap us up.
And thank you, everyone. This was very quick, but this was a question that was coming up more and more. If you'd like to learn more about confidential searches, both from a company side or if you're a candidate and you're thinking about it, please reach out to us at www.grtas.net. That's gratis.net. Please visit our Friday at 4 website. That's Friday at AT4, the number 4.net, www.fridayat4.net. And we're happy to help, happy to talk about it and see if these type of services are right for you. But again, it's been a great week. We appreciate the viewership and the support we're getting. Any questions or topics that you might have that you feel that we'd like to maybe expand on, please reach out to us. But until next week, it's Friday at 4, and we'll wish everybody well.